Last year, I saw so many Black women try to solve a problem in dating by starting to host events in person, trying to create third spaces to facilitate dating like offline. And you know what would happen every single time? The men were not signing up. They would be selling tickets to speed dating, and they would always end up with men's tickets on sale. Always, because they weren't buying any. Just the other day, a big account that I follow for Black creatives did like this cute Cupid thing where they were like, hey, send us a profile about yourself and we would love to post it and like play matchmaker. Sounds like a cute idea, right? Not one single man sent their profile in. And mind you, this is an account that has well over 100,000 followers. It's just time to stop. It's time to stop. They have made it very loud and clear that they do not want to try. They don't want to approach. No matter how you curate different activities to get them interested, they're not. And I'm not saying that men who seriously want to date don't exist, but I think on a large scale in major cities, the dating events, all these creative ways that we're trying to get them interested, they're not there. I don't think that these men are tapped into social media. I really don't. I think that they are locked in on their hobbies and in communities that matter to them.
So I've been seeing these videos about men not showing up to these singles events, and I wanted to give my 2 cents. I think the main reason we have a problem with men not showing up to these events has to do with marketing. You're not marketing towards the men. The men that you want to show up to these events aren't showing up because you're not marketing towards them. You're marketing towards women. You got the women showing up. Now you need to cater it towards getting the men in there. I think all of this is a result to the club kind of like business model. If you have a club and you want to get guys to spend money, you invite a bunch of women. Let women get in free, guys will show up, spend money at the bar, pay to get in, buy girls drinks, things like that. Now this is a little bit different though. We have singles events. Women are going to these events trying to find guys. So the dynamic is literally switched. So you can't rely on the old business model of women get in and men will follow, because it's not that same dynamic. I think also you need to kind of like tailor the event to appeal more to men. You know what I'm saying? If you got a singles event and it's a flyer with pretty flowers and hearts and stuff like that, a bunch of guys not going to show up to that event because it looks like something specifically for women. It's like asking why young boys aren't getting Barbie dolls. It's not going to work.
We are seeing more and more women come out and complain about the lack of men, or specifically the lack of men showing up to these single events, to these single mixers where there is supposed to be men and women. It's very, 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 very interesting. And so I think both of the content creators make some really solid points. They both obviously agree and acknowledge that by and large men aren't interested, but there is a reason why. And I want to try to unpack some of the different things that I've actually heard from different men that I've spoken to, and they have explained why they themselves are just actively not engaging in these kinds of events or just in the dating market in general. One complaint I hear from men a lot is that they simply don't feel like they're being heard. They may feel like they're being talked down to, shamed or coerced into trying to date particular women or show up, but they actually don't feel like they're being heard. Even if we think in the manosphere or even the Black manosphere, how there has been a lot of negativity and there's been harsh criticism against the whole space. And I do understand that there are some voices that are arguably very problematic, but there was such a need to try to shut down that space without there being a willingness to actually listen to some of the legitimate points. Take, for example, the Black woman political agenda. There are very legitimate concerns that have been outlined from thousands of men that we just simply don't hear about outside of these spaces, outside of those maybe online forums or in those particular spaces. Like, we don't hear these issues, these concerns being levied up to the larger community. We don't really hear Black women at large talking about these issues. And if there's one thing we know about Black women, it's that they know how to make their voice be heard. So those little things, the actions that are taken or not taken, let men know or cause them to feel like there's not genuine concern for what they want. And so that I think that is one reason a lot of men are just stepping away. And because social media now puts so many of these issues in Front Street for everybody to hear, it's no longer hidden per se. It's no longer just maybe perhaps a thought or, one of those things that a person was unclear about. There are countless examples that have men come into the conclusion that they just don't feel like coming to the conclusion that their point of view, their perspective, who they are really doesn't matter that much, or doesn't matter to the women of their own community. And so that's why some of them just simply are not showing up. Another one, obviously, high standards. I mean, Kevin Samuels did a phenomenal job at exposing the standards that women have. Now, he certainly was not the most cordial, but what we saw in his countless interactions with women was that ladies were very, 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 very picky. Time after time after time, there were women who came online and who were demanding the top tier men. You're talking top 10%, top 5%, sometimes top 1%, sometimes top 0.1%. Like, these women over and over again, women of all different ages and backgrounds, etc., were demanding a very small percentage of men. So the high standards alone of these ladies that many men feel are unattainable have them completely checked out. And then on top of that, because of these high standards, there are men who just feel like they are disqualified and they would rather give up before they actually start, right? Whether it's them not being tall enough or them being in a phase of their life where they're building their career and knowing that a lot of women aren't going to want to walk alongside them as they're building their career, or just not having the money they think they would need to attract a woman or a woman that they actually like. And so some men just simply are not engaging because they just are not in the phase of their life where they feel like they could actually attract women. Truly. And so they give up before they try, or they're just like, you know what, I'm going to engage in this once I have had a chance to focus on myself and get my career and my life to a certain point that's going to be more desirable to women, right? And then another reason is just peace. Peace. There are some men who have just counted the cost. They simply do not like what they see as far as modern relationships. They think it's a headache, and they would rather just be alone. They'd rather just be alone. The modern representation of relationships and modern dating in general is horrible. I've always said modern dating is prostitution. There's nothing good about it. It is completely toxic. And so I understand that. Now, I am not a supporter of modern dating. I am not necessarily a supporter of a lot of these different dating trends. And so I tend to be in the opposite side of the spectrum. And there are women out there who obviously do exist. And that's what I'm about. That's what I'm about, cultivating. But by and large, many men feel that that is a minority because of how loud and aggressive and abrasive and pervasive some of these messages are with respect to dating standards. You look at these different dating shows, the Real Housewives stuff, and just the whole culture that's been cultivated, this OnlyFans culture, this IG culture. And a lot of guys are just like, this is just too much. This is too much. You turn on television and you see another rapper or another athlete or another celebrity losing millions of dollars through a divorce. Like, some men are just checked out. And so because of that, they don't believe that there's something better out there. Now, I'm a firm believer that there is. I live that every single day and I see it, and I know that that community exists. But again, I'm just simply letting y'all know what I have heard from other men as some of their concerns. So I wouldn't say that this is certainly every concern. Those are just a few that I've noticed. But what do you guys think? Do you agree? Or do you disagree? Is there something that I missed? Or is there something that you would like to add, or something else you think I misunderstood? Let me know down in the comment section, and we'll talk later, okay? Bye.